And we are good to go. All right, here we go. Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Ian Johnston, manufacturer of the PDVS2 Mini and YouTuber.
Hey, Ian, thanks for joining us, fellow
Hi,
YouTuber. I'm going to have to get used to this Scottish accent, though, if there's some things I don't understand.
I was going to ask you, have you had a Scots person on the Amp Hour before?
We've had Big Clive on. He's
yeah, of course,
Yep.
yeah.
How do your accents differ? Do you think?
I'm further up the coast than him, so there is a difference in the accent.
Right.
You guys might not notice it, but I do.
Okay, I'm sure. Yeah, because he's on the Isle of Man, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think he does a bit in Glasgow. He lives in Glasgow as well. I'm not sure where he's from, but you know.
Right. So, what part of Scotland are you from?
Near Aberdeen.
Oh, you don't want to say.
No, I'm
Aberdeen.
Yep. Near Aberdeen, but I wasn't born there. I was born further south in Scotland, but bred up in near Aberdeen.
Right. Excellent. So you've lived there your whole life?
Since I was 3.
Oh, okay, that's good enough. All right. So you've recently announced that you're now a full-time YouTuber. You've joined the club.
I have. The oil industry wasn't what it was. I was a contractor for many, many years, and I just had enough, Dave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think my electronics, I've always been in electronics, and just the lure of the electronics again, you probably started that many years ago, attracting a lot of people back, but it just became too much. I had enough, and it was time to give it up and just be in the workshop 24/7.
Yep. So how's it been going? Is it been going good?
I thought I'd have more free time because it used to be, you know, evenings and weekends when I was working for the man. But now it's just exactly the same. The wife still never sees me.
I shouldn't laugh, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh God. Yeah.
So the wife never sees me. I'm always in the workshop, you know, early morning till late at night. You know, we've got no kids or nothing like that. So what else are you going to do? What else are you going to do?
So where is your workshop? For those you can see this video because we're recording video as well. For those who are listening to the podcast version, you can see his background there. And you always shoot stuff in your shop. Where is your shop? Is it in the house? Is it in a garage or a commercial?
I converted the garage. I got rid of the big door at the front, put 2 windows in, and just totally converted it into a workshop. New door, the whole lot.
Nice.
Lined it all, insulated it all, new workbenches, the whole lot. And it'll never be a car garage again, that's for sure.
Right. Is there a video of that transformation or?
No, there's not. There's probably a few photographs of when it was getting built by the builders. I probably took a few photographs, but there's no video, no. There'll be an early video on YouTube somewhere of when I just got the workbenches in, but that's about it, yeah.
Because you've been on YouTube for like almost 10 plus years, haven't you? More than a decade?
Yeah, it must be approaching that. Yeah, I've been on YouTube a long time, but not as a content creator. I've only got 108 videos, something like that. I don't have a lot of videos, you know, but yeah.
But I see videos going back 11 years. There you go.
Oh, well, maybe.
I didn't want to say how long you've been on there. Sorry, I didn't want to.
No.
But the years are getting away.
I probably deleted a few of the early ones, right enough.
Oh, okay. Because your first one's a do-it-yourself Segway by the looks of it. You built your own homemade Segway.
Yeah. That was before it was really a channel. That was just me mucking about, really. But I just left that one on. A bit of fun, that one there. That was just when I started to get back into the electronics, and like I said, you're probably to blame for that.
That's not the first time I've heard that. Sorry. So, also apologies to your wife as well. Oh boy. So, right. So we actually come from a similar background, oil and gas. You're the oil and gas industry, same as me. I spent like a decade in that. So
Yeah.
So can you tell us about where you've worked in your career?
I've only had, I'm 58 now, and I've only had two jobs since I was 19.
Wow.
And the first job was in the oil industry. I was 19, and it happened to be a tiny little company in Aberdeen, and they were looking for workshop technicians. I was completely green. I was into electronics before then, as a hobbyist at home, but it was the perfect job. It was like getting paid for a hobby. It was absolutely brilliant. And I just worked in a workshop, building drilling instrumentation and controls for offshore. And the company we built our own electronics, Z80 based stuff back then. And I basically just worked my way up from workshop technician to charge hand in the workshop, technical support, and I ended up being R&D manager at the end,
nice.
Designing all the electronics. So it was fantastic, and I would have been there now, but the company had problems, so I ended up moving away and took a desk job for another oil company, but nothing to do with electronics. And I was about a few years into that, and I missed the soldering iron. That's what it basically comes down to.
Those fumes were calling, were they?
Yeah, so that's when I kind of started looking a bit more seriously at, building a home workshop and that sort of thing. And then sort of YouTube followed off the back of that, really. So, it's been great. It's been a good career, really. I'm not sad to give it up because I much prefer being in the workshop.
Right. But, I see a photo on your website here of you're into audio, like bands and stuff, doing audio stuff.
Yeah. Me and hobbies, I don't touch on them lightly. I go full
You go all in. Right.
I go full in. So that was, I was sound man for an 18-piece soul band, and it ended up it ended up being one of the biggest bands of that type in Scotland.
Wow.
And we had a big following, and the guy that ran the band was absolutely loaded. So anything I wanted in terms of gear, I got.
Nice.
So it was great. So the big 32 channel mixing desks, you name it, I got it. And
I can see it there in the photo. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. I can see the big rack and the big mixing desk and that. Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
So I did that. I did that for 9 years. This is a hobby, evenings and that sort of weekends, really.
Right.
But it was kind of that or the electronics at that time. So I kind of sidelined the electronics for a wee while whilst I did that. And but yeah, once the band finished up, I then went back into the electronics again, big time.
Got it. Very coincidentally, I mentioned you in a video today because I was doing a repair. Yeah, I was doing a repair and I showed one of your videos. Yeah, you might have seen on Twitter because, we follow each other on Twitter. So I'm repairing an Agilent / Keysight U1272A multimeter, which is the same as... it's sort of like a little upgraded version to your U12, what is it, the 1253B that you did a repair video on. Guess what guess what the fault in mine is?
I wonder.
I had no idea this was a thing in these multimeters. I didn't know. And so I'm doing my video, and and I'm troubleshooting it, and I'm soldering on wires, getting voltages out, and reading voltages and stuff. And then it dawned on me, I think this might be a thing. So I simply search Google. What comes up? The EV blog forum, your videos. Your video was one of them that popped up, and faulty.
So are you going to replace the display then?
I've just ordered one. Yes, I've just ordered a replacement.
Be careful, because the first one I ordered.
Yeah.
I think it's easier with the 1271, but the first one I ordered, it was a mirror image.
Yeah, I saw that. I was just watching it before this. I was just watching, and I'm going, you're getting, what causes the mirror image? I thought it was like low voltage or something.
No, it's just a
low
different
battery
spec. Just a different spec to the display.
Right.
But it's really hard to order the right one. You know, like all the part numbers are maybe the same. I don't know, but it's quite hard to order the right one. So
Well, it specifically said U1272A. Mine's the AX model, but I don't think the AX model's any different. So, yeah, for those who don't know, it's the spoiler alert for mine or your video. It's the OLED display, and these OLED displays just famously fail. And apparently it's a huge thing. Like all these Keysight meters, and there's multiple sellers on eBay selling replacement screens for these Keysight meters that all had OLEDs. And
I think I converted mine. I didn't order another display. You can order a little adapter board.
Yeah, I saw those. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what that board is? It mirrors it back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because it's got this wide board that sort of like solders in place and converts it. There's also another one with, or you can just buy the screen and replace that, but it'd probably fight. But they're harder to get. Just the actual screen itself with the ribbon cable and everything.
Yeah.
So I've ordered the one with the board, so it should hopefully be a drop-in, replacement for it.
We will
Should
see.
just works. We'll see if it's backwards. Okay, I've been diddled, and they're not cheap. They're not cheap either. I paid like $80 for it. So I'm gonna. I don't even think the YouTube income from the video will pay for that. So I'm going to auction it off when it's done. I'll just auction the thing plus postage. Plus postage as well, which to Australia is always, a significant amount extra.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, you mostly do repair videos on your channel. Is that
I do,
right?
yeah.
Or that'd be a good lot of them.
Most of them, and I think the reason for that is back when I was working for the man, in charge of the workshop and all the electronics technicians and all the rest of it, I did quite a lot of teaching, as you do when you're the lead in the workshop. I got into that vein of showing people what to do, when to do their work, and I've kind of subconsciously continued on doing that in my YouTube videos. I don't just want to do a straight repair, change out the caps and off we go. I want to give a little bit of background about, what the circuit's doing and, that kind of thing. So that's why I think I enjoy the repairs more than anything else. I don't do reviews,
Oh, okay, right. So you enjoy the commentary and teaching part of the review process.
Yeah.
So do you get comments like I get on my repair videos? It's like, that's a 5-minute repair. Why is your video 30 minutes long? And it's like, well, I explained a lot of stuff.
Sometimes, maybe not for a while, but sometimes, Why the 40-minute video? It's just 3 caps, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, exactly. It's just, Oh boy, yeah.
But then on the opposite side, I've got I don't often do it, but I've got like a 6 episode repair of a Keithley 2001.
Whoa.
And I thought that would
Epic.
not go down well at all, because I like to finish a video at a conclusion, rather than drag on to episode 1, 2, 3, 4, and it ended up being huge.
Wow.
People were just loving it because it was an epic repair.
Yep. They were following along at home, as I say. They're playing along at home, actually following the hunt. Yeah. Although I do get complaints if I, because a lot of often, especially on my second channel, a lot of my repairs will be I've got, half an hour to work on it. So I'll just shoot a quick video and then I might get back to it, I might not. So I'll just throw it on the second channel, and then everyone complains, why didn't you finish it, And it's like, well, I don't know. I just like,
I've got a couple like that. I've got part 1s that are sitting that I can't get back to part 2 because they're impossible to repair because I've got no schematics. They're a nightmare.
Or they're just not worth your time. You'd spend so much time on it. You could probably do it if you devoted, a week or two full time to it or something,
Yeah, and probably the money as well, and the parts I'd have to try, and it might not fix it and that sort of thing. So I've got a couple of them sitting, but I will get back to them eventually.
Right. The old beyond economical repair. Either it's economical in terms of money, or it's economical in terms of time, or both, or sanity. You know. Yeah. Yeah, I had one which is a big dynamic signal analyzer, big HP jobby with all the multiple cards, you know. Yeah, massive cards. And I did like 4 parts on that or something, and then I just gave it up because I realized that I was testing op amps on the board, and like half the op amps were dead, and it's like the power supply had gone high voltage on the rail that powers everything on the board. It's like, and which has custom ASICs on it, and all it's No, I'm not going to waste any more time on this.
That's what happened with the Keithley 2001. There's a big analog board and there's a big digital board.
Yep.
And they both got zapped. It just so happened. That was in the part 1 video. I kind of come to that conclusion. And one of my viewers said, I've got a Keithley 2001. You can have it. It's broken.
Oh, nice.
So I got it for the analog board. But my digital board, I had to fix it. So I ended up pulling off the CPU, you know, your 120 pin flat pack and all sorts.
Oh, right.
So it was a big major job, and just about every IC I pulled from it and replaced. And the joy, you see the joy in my face and my voice when I switch it on and it works.
Fantastic. Oh, yeah. Oh, so people love that. You have the multi-parters. Yeah, I'm getting a rep for not finishing repairs, you know. So I actually put a poll on Twitter. You might have seen it today. Should I upload this video just as before I get the screen? Everyone voted no. Finish it, finish it. Just get the screen.
I think you've got a lot more going on than me, Dave, in and around your workshop and
I don't know.
And all the rest of
I'm
it.
just I got a wife and kids. You know, I've got the kids and the things happening and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
But you know. Shouldn't be an excuse, but anyway. I did get special permission to go home late tonight because it's, you know, getting towards the evening here. So, you know, I got special permission to turn up late for dinner because I'm recording. Oh, boy. So what a lot of people might know you for, though, is the, it's a bit confusing, make sure I get it right, the PD VS2. Now it's the mini. It's the voltage source, the 10-volt voltage reference source.
Yeah.
And you sent one into my mailbag like donkeys years ago, wasn't it? Was it a mailbag or a?
It was a mailbag, and it wasn't even a prototype. It was I just put it together.
Right.
And I was trying to gauge.
That's
your
right.
interest.
That's right. And people wanted one, right? Didn't they? After the video, people.
No. What actually happened was during the video. You said the words, Ian has got to make these.
Oh, I remember that. All right.
That's all I needed.
Right. Okay.
And I was off on it. So then I ended up tearing it apart. I completely redesigned it.
Yep.
And turned it into a product. And that became the PDVS2, the PDVS1.
Right. Okay. So mine's just a rough proto.
Yeah.
Right.
I changed the voltage reference. I went to the LM399. The one that you've got, it's just a basic plastic package voltage reference, so it's got nothing like the stability.
That's right. Yep.
Of the
yep. I remember now. It's coming. How long ago was that? How many years ago was that? 5, 6?
Yeah, maybe 5 years, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Ouch.
So then I redesigned it, and then eventually I upgraded it. I put in a rotary encoder on the front, and I changed the microcontroller. It was just using the original one was just using the 80 mega 328 like the early Arduinos have got. I went to a slightly bigger one to give me more I/O, and that became the PDVS2 with the rotary encoder and all the rest of it on it. And it was a bit better. Then eventually what happened with that one, it became too costly. The cost of all the components went up and up and up, and I decided I've got to make this cheaper.
Yeah.
That's when I redesigned it completely, and it became the PDVS2 Mini.
Right.
I got rid of the rotary encoder, smaller LCD, got my own aluminium CNC housing made for it. and everything, and
Nice.
just basically started again with it, and it knocked it quite a bit off the bomb, and that's what I make to
By
this day.
how much? How much
Oh,
were you able to reduce the bomb by?
maybe 30 or 40 pounds, something like that.
That's significant. Yeah. How
Yeah,
much does it
yeah.
cost? It's well, no, I'm not going to ask you how much the your raw materials cost is, but yeah. So you manufacture these in house, right?
Yep, yep. Absolutely everything happens in here. Obviously, the CNC aluminium enclosure for the box it sits in, I get that made in China. It's too costly in the UK to do that, so I get that made in
Right.
China, and everything else, the PCBs are all hand assembled, because I don't really have the quantity for a pick and place.
I was going to ask about that. Yeah. What sort of quantity are you making? What sort of batch sizes?
I'm making batches of maybe 50 at a time usually.
Ooh, yeah, that's kind of. Oh,
Yeah, but sometimes I make more. I've kind of got like a commercial customer in China. I'm
right.
actually selling back to the Chinese.
Oh, nice. Wow, fantastic.
So yeah,
That's a first. I don't think I've ever heard that before.
well, to be honest with you, it's an American company approached me and wanted to buy
Right.
3, and I said, "Oh, no problem. There you go." Sold them 3, and then they came back to me and says, "Look, we make variable speed drives, and we want to put your PDVS2 Mini in this part as a calibration kit. And we've got like a suitcase
Oh,
or something
okay.
like
Yeah,
that."
right.
And I says, "Yeah, well, what's the quantities are you talking about?" So I can't remember what they said. It was like 150 a year, 200 a year, or
Okay.
something like that.
Whoa, that's
And I says,
decent. Yeah.
so I said, "Yeah, I can live with that. Yeah, no problem at all." And I was bearing in mind I was still working for the man then, so it was evenings
Right.
and
Okay.
weekends.
Yeah. And you were going, damn, I have to make that many.
Yeah, so but it got way beyond the 200 a year or whatever. They just, as soon as I delivered and gave them the tracking number for UPS, they were back on the email. Right, we need to order another 50. And I'm going, oh.
Ouch.
It did become too much. I had to go back to the American company and tell them to slow down a bit, because all the manufacturing was done in China, and it was China that was actually selling to, although the parent company was American. So
Right.
it still goes on to this day, but the quantity has been pulled right back because they
Right.
listen to me.
Right. So they probably are upselling that hugely. Like it's, they're probably
Oh
selling
yeah,
like a high end, huge high end product where they don't, it's kind of nothing to include a few $100 handheld calibrator, right? For a
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I
right.
mean, I've worked with the Chinese before, years ago, through working for the man, and you always went through a middleman, and we used to get repeat orders via the middleman for extra bits of kit, and ultimately it was never going to reach its destination. The middleman was wanting his cut. But in
Yep.
this case, I don't think it's like that. It could be, but I don't think it is, because it really is. It's a Chinese company that are ordering. So I'm never really sure what's going on. Are these really seeing the ultimate destination, or is there a warehouse somewhere with a whole
Right.
load of PDVS2 minis stuck on a shelf?
Well,
don't know.
as long as they pay you, it's fine, right?
Yeah, absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yeah. So
So,
how many do you reckon you've sold? Like aside from that, like to personal customers, because it's a niche market.
yeah, well, since I started, if you include the PDVS2s and all that, it's over 1,000. I would have thought.
Wow, that's actually quite a lot
Yeah,
for
it's
a,
over 1,000.
yeah.
But yeah, but
So people are just using it for multimeter calibration. People just love to calibrate their check their
well,
multimeters and
the biggest customers I've got are basically hobbyists and stuff like that. But I do get companies buying them that want to use them to help test their own kit. And one of my best customers, or my favorite customers, and they only bought one, and that was the people at CERN for the
yeah.
Large
Oh,
Hadron
nice.
Collider.
Yep. Yeah, CERN have bought
And
some of my stuff as well. Yeah.
and what they were doing I says to the guy, I wrote him an email after I delivered it. I says, if you don't mind me asking, what are you using it for?
Yeah.
What do CERN and the Large Hadron Collider want with a PDV-S2 Mini? And he says that they've got these great big superconducting magnets that are cooled by liquid gas and all the rest of it. And he says, if something goes wrong with the cooling, the magnets become resistive.
Right.
And it's 12 kiloamps of current in those magnets, he said. And he said, we can't afford to have any resistance at all in that magnet. It's got to be superconducting. And he says, what your piece of kit's doing is, we've got our own ADCs for measuring the voltage across the magnets, but every now and then we have to test our ADCs to make sure that they're in spec and all the rest of it. And that's what the PDV-S2 Mini was for.
Interesting.
Just
yeah,
for
because
testing
there
their
is a
ADCs.
voltage. Yeah, because they'd be using the ADCs to measure the voltage drop or whatever, and it's probably very small, and they have to, and it goes critical at some. I just had an email the other day after the other week's episode about, Chris and I talked about superconductors, and somebody emailed us who knows all about this sort of stuff and said, there is two different critical temperatures, and to where it completely stops being superconductor. There's no longer any pairs left. There's no longer any bonded electron pairs or whatever it is. How the superconductor works, and once that happens, boom.
Well, what he said to me, what he said to me is we can't have 100 millivolts across that magnet for any longer than 10 microseconds.
10 microseconds?
No, 10 milliseconds.
10 milliseconds. Sorry. Because at that sort of current, boom, the magic smoke's going to escape.
And what he mentioned the words explosion.
Explosion.
So it's a serious thing. So that's what they're doing as well.
Nice.
So I tried to catch up with the guy about 6 months later to find out. I was hoping for photographs, to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
but he's left, and somebody else had taken over.
Oh,
so
no.
I couldn't get anything out of them.
Bummer.
So that's a favourite one. CERN's a favourite one. The only other one I nearly had was NASA. But I didn't have any stock at the time, so.
Oh no! So you couldn't provide it, so they went and ordered. I don't know,
that
one of
the. Good.
What about those ones on eBay? Like can't you buy like a $20 multimeter calibrator now, and it's got the analog devices, AD something or other chip on it, and they're okay, probably. If you want to calibrate your 3.5-digit multimeter, I guess. But
it's all about the Tempco and all that, as well, and the low TCR resistors and all the rest of it. It's all about that. And I ended up making, like I said in my workshop, I do everything myself, 3D printer and the laser cutting everything. I made my own thermal chamber so that I could put the PDV-S2 Mini inside that and categorize it and all that sort of thing there. So it's all about Tempco.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that, because you individually bake in and temperature and thermally cycle or whatever each one, right? And so how do you do? Do you do that like one by one, or do you put multiple ones in the chamber? I was going to say, how do you if you've got a batch of 100 units, how do you, where do you get the space to do this?
The thermal chamber is not used for that. It's really just for specking it.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah.
But when I make a batch of 50, I can't do them one by one. I leave them running for 10 days on the workbench, running 24/7. And I usually, I've got enough space to put 50 on the workbench behind you there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It takes up the whole bench.
I was going to say you would have to clear that whole thing. I was going
and then my power supply, I've got like 2 power supplies powering them all, and it's a significant amount of current as well. And when you walk in the morning at the workshop, the heat is unbearable. Just because of all the heat. I mean, they only draw about 50 milliamps each, but you've got 50 of them. It adds up. So so I run them like that for 10 days. The 50 of them. Then I've got to calibrate them, and that's another matter entirely.
Right, so that's just, so you don't monitor them during that. That's just a bake-in, is it? That's just a bake-in. Okay, right.
Yeah.
And then how long does it take you to calibrate each one?
Well, when I first started calibrating them, I was doing them by hand, one at a time. And
Mm.
the issue is with the PDVS2 Mini, it's not just two set points, a minimum and a maximum.
Right.
The 20-bit DAC that I'm using, it's got quite a high what do you call it?
Non-linearity, or is it
Yeah.
the moneticity?
What is it? Oh, I forget the word.
Well, there would be non-linear because you use a 20-bit 80 a 20-bit DAC,
DAC, yeah.
and you get 20-bit resolution on it on the display. Is that right? Or do you have a few bits spare?
No, there's no bit spare. I
Okay.
push it to the limit and I give the customer access to every single bit that's there.
Right.
So what I was doing was I ended up changing the software for the PDVS2 Mini and giving it 11 set points. So there's a set point at 0 volts, 1 volt, 2 volt, 3 volt, all the way up to 10 volts.
Right.
And if you're calibrating that by hand, it takes forever pushing the little buttons on the top.
Oh yeah, right. Have you got haven't automated that? Haven't you got a software routine,
I
like a
have
built-in
now.
test routine? Okay.
What I
Right.
ended up doing is I wrote WinGPIB, which is hosted on your forums, the GPIB app for Windows, and I've got like a control loop. I've got my 3458A, which is connected to my PC, and also the PDVS2 Mini's got a serial link to my PC as well. So the app can instruct the PDVS2 Mini go to 1 volt, and
Nice.
then the 3458A will pick that up, detect the error, and then send back to the PDVS2 Mini with the error, and it'll adjust the counts accordingly, and it'll go right through all the set points one at a time. So basically, right now I just hit a button and off it goes. And
Nice.
calibrates.
That's, you don't want to be doing that manually. You want to put the effort in up front to design in custom like test routines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's worth its weight in gold. Yeah, absolutely. So you don't have like a bed of nails or anything? Like you test them as like a final product in the box?
There's two circuit boards in it. There's a charger board and also the main board. And I've got little test jigs, bed of nails sort of thing for both of them, where I can individually test them, especially a charger board, because it's got the regulators on it, 3.3 volt regulator and all that. So I can test them individually, and then I obviously solder them together with high confidence there's not going to be a problem.
Got it. Yeah.
And then that's when I start the final assembly, and then the heat soak testing for a week after that, or 10
Got
days.
It. So how do you just take like an individual reading, or do you take average readings with the 3458A, or how do you is it like super stable? Does it like flip over a couple of digits at the end?
Oh,
or
no. Yeah. Yes. Oh, I mean, the 3458 is an 8.5 digit multimeter. The PDVS2 Mini is not capable of 8.5 digits. So there's, there's quite a bit of noise at that right-hand side, if you know what I mean.
Right. Yep.
So you run a high MPLC on the 3458A, and it'll average itself before it sends its value back to the Windows app anyway. And then the app will take maybe 2 or 3 readings and average that, and then that becomes the value that's used for the set point.
Got it. For those playing along at home who don't know what NLPC was that you just said there, that's number of power line cycles. So if you've got 50 hertz, are you guys 50 or 60 over there?
50.
50? Okay. Yep. 50 hertz all the way. All right. It averages its integration time is a multiple of the mains frequency, so it doesn't. So mains interference doesn't cause a problem. So that's why if you've got a multimeter like that and you import it and it's it's set for the wrong frequency, it's not going to work as well. It's not going to work.
Right.
So you got to set it. So it'll do a number of power line cycle averages, as well as and you do averages on top of that as well. So
and then once it's completed, I'll actually go and spot check it as well. I'll just run through a few of the set points, make sure they're okay, make sure there's no problems. And then on my calibration certificate, it's auto-generated from the app as well. It writes a PDF and spits out a completed
Oh, great.
completed calibration cert. I recorded the
Fantastic.
temperature that it was
Yeah.
calibrated at, everything. That was all done. I've tried to automate every single aspect of it.
And that's been worth its weight in gold, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. People were telling you, put the effort in up front to automate your production. I've done a video on that where just, a simple thing like adding a test connector onto your PCB or something like that you can plug up a test jig and a battery and, or something like that. Just make it easier than having to plug in your whole product and stuff. It just,
when I did them, when I was calibrating them by hand, it was taking like 20 minutes per unit. And it's not so much the time's a factor. But also, the temperature in the workshop can go up and down in that time.
It can too. Yeah, of course.
I like to keep it within half a degree.
Yeah.
Of so that it doesn't vary whilst I'm calibrating it. Otherwise, the calibration's a waste of time.
Yeah, well, I found that my lab here, if I leave the aircon on, you might think aircon, oh, okay, it's a constant temperature. No, if you log it, I can see it fluctuating by at least plus minus half a degree. Like it just, it's like a sawtooth kind of, thing. And it just varies. So, if you try and keep it within half a degree, you've got to do it within like a 30, a 5-minute window or even shorter, like a minute. Or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my workshop here, I've got an aircon as well, and it's mounted up in the wall, and it's a heater as well, cooler, heater, fan. But it was giving me, I don't know why, it was more than 2 degrees hysteresis.
Oh, yeah. Ouch. Yeah, mine in the office here, I think's 1. So, 2's a lot.
I couldn't live with it. With it. So I ended up hacking the aircon. It's got a Wi-Fi module in it, so I ended up disabling its own control system.
Nice.
And I wrote an app to interface via Wi-Fi, and I've got my own temperature sensor mounted on the workbench, and it does its own control of the aircon itself.
Oh, fantastic!
And I get about maybe 0.2, 0.3 of a degree hysteresis now.
Oh, that is tight. Yeah, that's hard to do. People don't realize, and the bigger the space, the harder it is. Smaller spaces might be.
Well, it's a tiny space, so it's relatively easy to do in here, but it's worth its weight in gold. It means that almost all day, I know the 3458A is not going to, be subject to any temperature changes by more than maybe half a degree, and that's within the spec of the 3458A, so job done.
Oh, okay, yes it is. It'd have a spec. Okay. Yeah,
I think it's
as long as you keep
1 degree.
Oh, 1. Okay, right. Yes.
Like that.
I think I've read I think I remember that from the spec. So how often do you get that cowed? Every year? Do you send it out for external calibration?
Yeah, I send it to Keysight down in England, and I originally did it once a year. Then I asked them, I actually asked him, I says, whose call is it that it's once a year? And he says, no, you can do what you want. He says, we've got plenty of customers that do once every 2 years.
Yep.
And I says, oh, well, I'll go with that then, because it never moves.
No, it never moves. No, it never moves. That's why you pay $5,000 or however. How much is one of those brand new?
I think they're about over £11,000 now.
Wow. So is yours brand new or second hand?
No. I bought mine second hand from a dealer in Germany a few years ago.
That's what almost everyone does. Yeah. Yeah, because they're so good. Like you just buy it and you get it calibrated, and it doesn't. They're rock solid. It just doesn't move.
Well, this is my second one. The first one I got from the dealer, I'd had it a week, and it started drifting, and it's a very, very common problem with the 3458A.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was solid as a rock.
No. There's the main one of the main chips on the board.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a common failure mode, is there? That causes that.
U182, I think it is on the board.
Okay.
Very, very common.
Right.
And you can't replace the chip. Keysight will only sell you a new board.
Right.
Which costs over £1,000. So I ended up shipping it back to Germany, and they shipped me another unit. So it was all.
Okay. Okay. So you got one. So it's either you're going to get one that drifts like buggery, or you're going to get one that's rock solid. Pretty much. It's going to right. So, okay.
If they come up on eBay as faulty, be really careful what you buy, because it's expensive to fix
interesting.
the problem.
Right. Wow.
So,
Okay, so somebody started seeing some drift, and they went, "Oh yeah, we'll sell this on eBay."
I
It
did
works.
buy one. I did buy one from eBay. I've actually had three because I did actually buy one from eBay, and I got it for like £600.
Oh no, really?
And I knew
Bargain.
full well what was going
Yeah,
to be
that
wrong
it's
with it, and it
right.
came from the Philippines, so it's not
Oh,
exactly.
yep.
I took a
I
chance.
think I know what
Paid
seller
him,
it might be. Yeah.
and I got it, and of course it drifted. So
Yeah.
I ended up buying a new board from Keysight. You could trade in your old circuit board and get the new one, but
Okay.
I ended up
Right.
being £1,600 out of pocket. But
Yeah,
still
yeah,
a
but you
very,
could
very
flip.
cheap.
Yeah, exactly. You could actually flip that for a huge profit. You can still flip it for
So I ended up selling it in the end, but I
Yeah.
kept my original one. I'll never get rid of that.
Right.
It's going to the
No.
grave with me.
Yeah, right. Here lies Ian with his 3458A. Oh goodness. Oh yeah, that's just fantastic. So yeah, what's the one on the bench behind you? Is that repair or?
That's a 3245A. That's a universal source. HP universal
Oh,
source.
okay, right. It kind of looks like a. They all look very similar.
Yeah, it's almost the same front panel
okay.
as the 3458A. Yeah. So that's a repair, and a bit of an upgrade. It's more than a repair. I'm upgrading it, and they're not the most noise-free units.
Okay.
Given this, the spec of them are not that great. They can be a little bit noisy at the 6.5 digit. So this one here, I'm changing out the old 30-odd-year-old op amps and putting in something a bit more modern, maybe choppers, something like that.
Right.
So I'm just trying to see if I can improve it as well as fix it at the same time. So I've done a part 1 video for that, and that's part 2 sitting waiting to get on with there.
Oh yes, I see it. Yes, that's your latest video, the Universal Source 3245A. Yeah. Okay. Very nice.
Yeah, but that's the repair. But I've also got my own one as well. So I've got one that can benchmark to as I make mods to this one. So it's quite handy. Really.
Nice. Oh yeah, that's very but when you've got a second unit to compare against and do things, it's just so handy. Yeah. What is the eBay market like in Scotland? So do you normally get them local, or is there much available local? Because here in Australia, it's like a backwater. Right, it's like we just don't get anything here, and if we do, we have to import it from the US. It's and it costs like $500 shipping.
It's much the same there, but I don't think the shipping's as bad for me as it would be for you.
Right.
But yeah, a lot of my faulty gear that I buy off eBay does come from the States.
Yep.
But I bucked a trend with that maybe about a year ago. I got contacted by a guy, and he said, I've got 6.5 digit multimeters, and I think they're all faulty. Do you want them?
Yeah. Right.
And I thought, oh, here we go. Where are you? He's 15 miles away.
Oh, no way. Did you go and get them?
Oh, I did, absolutely.
Oh, fantastic. What, these were 34401s or something, were they?
Yeah, there was a few of them. 86,
right.
Fluke 88,
oh, okay.
46As.
Yeah.
That's one of the impossible repairs that I've got sitting at the back there, because they won't release the schematic. So
right.
And it's a complicated design in those ones, so they're pretty hard to repair. But yeah, I got them, and I did a deal with them. I got some of them I bought off them dirt cheap, and the other ones I just fixed and gave them back.
Right.
Payment for getting them cheap. And
okay, that was nice. Yeah.
He's got a house full of stuff, and I just took his DMMs.
Oh, right. Okay, so he's just a private guy with a garage. He just collects them from works at some company or something, or.
Well, no. What he said was that him and his mate, his friend, bought a job lot. I don't know if a company got bust somewhere.
Right.
Got a pallet full of.
Pallets. Yeah, we just don't get that here in Australia. It's so I've got 1 or 2 videos where I've gotten a pallet load at a local auction, but it's so rare here to get them. And then there's professional eBay merchants who go in and buy them, and they just bid up crazy prices because they just then flip them on eBay for, they're happy to make a 10-20% margin or something. It's just volume for them, So it's hard to compete, even if you can get them.
Yeah, and then the eBay prices have just gone haywire. Everybody's repairing stuff now.
Ah, really?
You know what I mean, so I think the likes of me and you and all the other YouTubers, we've kind of knackered ourselves, as I would call it.
Right.
We've made it too much of a thing now, so people are jumping on it too much.
Yeah.
So.
There are lots of repair videos, repair channels now. There seem to be a lot, which is great to see. Yeah. It's
so I end up importing a lot of stuff. I like to, I'll probably. I think getting paid and sponsored on my YouTube channel helps because I can pay a little bit more than maybe what it's worth, but I get my money back through the
sponsor. So have you got a sponsorship every video? Or
yeah, PCB
way. Okay, right.
I'm using PCB way. They're pretty
excellent.
Good.
Pays the bills.
Yeah, absolutely. Pays for the new gear. Pays for the faulty gear, really.
Okay.
And then I can maybe flip it on eBay afterwards or something. Some of the stuff I'll keep, some of it I'll flip.
Yep.
Nice.
I wish I could do more. Like, people ask for repair videos, and I don't mind doing repair videos, but I'm a kind of like finish a video in one day and like upload and be done with it. So I can't and of course it's going to have a part, even if I find a faulty part, I'm not going to have it, or DigiKey's not going to, I can't just get it in a day, so I've got to wait for it. I don't know. Or I deliberately buy faulty stuff on eBay, it's so I search for things like I tick the faulty box, so it's sold as parts as is or whatever.
Yeah.
And I get them and it works. And it's like, what? It's like, I couldn't believe it.
Or something
or the fuse is blown, so it's either something incredibly simple or it's beyond economical repair. It's like, I just have no luck.
I've had some that faulty gear I've bought off of eBay, and you open it up and a wire's been cut. So it's obviously some company that want to refresh their equipment.
They sabotaged it.
So they sabotage their own equipment, like cutting a wire or something like that. I've had a few of them. And then,
a few of them? Wow,
that.
Wow, I don't think I've never had anything like that. Mine's either a simple like blown fuse or something really, or it just works. And people didn't know how to, or this seller didn't know how to, sometimes when you search in the eBay listings, you can get a sniff that, this seller has no idea. This actually works. I bet you it works, and because I've been buying and selling on eBay for 20 plus years or something, long time. I've got like 1,000 feedback.
Wow. I repaired a 5.5 digit multimeter, and I went inside it on video because it's on my channel, and a connector had been pulled, and it's not like it vibrated loose.
No, okay, it's got a clip.
Press it firmly back into place. So somebody had obviously just pulled the connector, boxed it back up to go, boss, this isn't working. All right, we'll get you a new one.
That's incredible. Wow. And they probably took it home and they're the ones who sold it on eBay? No, they would have put it back on and sold it as working if they were doing that scam, wouldn't they? I don't know. Wow, that's interesting.
Or I've had companies contact me wanting to donate test gear. That's been a good one as well.
Right.
A Rygo function gen that they used for this company were manufacturing electronic equipment, and they accidentally put 40 volts up its quagga.
Ooh.
And just look, we're not going to repair it. Here you go, you can have it. So
Yep.
So it was good. So it comes from a wide variety of sources, but mainly eBay anyway.
Right. So was that fault just the output pass transistor or right.
Yeah, op amp I think it was. I can't remember. I think it was an op amp had failed.
And an op amp as well.
Yeah, something like that.
Just okay, right.
And so it was a fairly easy repair, that one, and it
Right.
yeah, it worked.
Nice.
It was good.
Yeah. Because I used to do this. A lot of people don't know. Before this whole YouTube thing, one of my hobbies was buying and selling test gear on eBay. So I'd buy from the US because I found that in Australia, I made quite a lot of money out of this. That's why I've got like 1,000 feedback on my old eBay account. I've got multiple accounts now, but so I would take the risk to buy from the US, and because I found that a lot of people in Australia would not take the risk of buying from overseas. They wouldn't buy test gear from overseas. They'd only buy locally. So I would take the risk, and then I'd if it was faulty, I'd repair it or I'd rejuvenate it, and like clean it up, I'd calibrate it and stuff, and then I'd resell it locally, and then I could I could easily triple my money on these things.
Wow.
So I could buy like a $500 scope and resell it for like like $2,000 or something. It's nuts.
All right.
You just had to take the risk of importing it. Sometimes things were, it might not work out, but 95% of the time it was, I would make a huge
I'll buy
profit.
from anywhere around the globe. I'll buy from. I don't really. It doesn't make much difference really, but I'll buy from anywhere. For
have you
gear,
bought? Have you bought from the famous Israeli dealer?
I have.
Oh, you have? How did that work out? Because for those who don't know,
you commented. On the forum, I posted in your forums, and you posted back. You replied back. Is this from? And you mentioned
from the Israeli seller?
And I went, yep.
Because what did it look be? Because for those who don't know, there's what is it? Test Surplus Mart or something? Are they still going?
Yeah, something like that.
I haven't checked. Yeah, and they sell this test gear that looks like it's been run over by a tank, or it's been been in an explosion, or it's been used as artillery practice or whatever. It's like. And they just post it, and they post gorgeous high-res photos of it, and it's just mangled mess.
Yeah, I bought an Agilent power supply from them. It was exactly the same. If you dropped it from 30 foot, it wouldn't have looked as bad as it did in the photographs.
So did it work? Tell us.
Well, I think I ended up super gluing the front panel back together in a million bits. And I got it working, and then in the end, I ended up buying a new front panel for it. And I think the display board was bent or something like that. I got it working in the end, but it was a mess. I'll take a chance, no problem there.
Yeah, they're so funny. Like occasionally I see bargains on there, but other ones I'm not touching that one, 10-foot pole. I don't know. I don't know if anyone knows the story of how they get in this. It's just this Israeli seller that gets them, and they purposely destroy them because that's a thing. If people don't know, it's like companies will have a policy that once you dispose of something, you must destroy it. So before you toss it in the dumpster, so you must get a hammer to it, or you must, do something to it. So that's why you find cut wires and stuff like that. That could be the, because a lot of companies will have a policy. A, you are not to dumpster dive, and B, it must be destroyed before. That's part of the write-off process or something. And you've got to some of them you've even got to document it.
The bit that gets me, you'll see every now and then a 3458A, which is arguably the world's best multimeter. And they end up on eBay, and the state that they're in, you couldn't have dragged it behind a car. And it looked, and
breaks the heart.
How does a workshop, or how does a facility let their test equipment of that caliber get into that state? That beats me.
So it's got to be that. It's got to be that policy. Should I name them? There is a famous one of the big test equipment companies had a buyback policy, like a trade-in policy once. You would trade in your scope, a different brand or an older version of their scopes, or even a totally different brand. You'd trade in one, it could be an old like analog Crow, so you could trade in one of those, and you would get a discount on their new one. And it was through the dealers, and the dealers had to destroy them. The deal, even people were giving in these perfectly functional, great scopes as trade-ins, even like relatively high-end ones, because they were trading in for a much higher-end one, and they had to destroy them. They were ordered to destroy them, and they had to provide evidence that they were destroyed, so they wouldn't make it back onto the second-hand market. And then which would then cut into their sales potentially, but it'd cut into everyone's sales. But yeah, they were. Yep. I won't name them. You can speculate below in the comments. But yes, the dealers had to provide evidence of destruction, and it was terrible. It's a shame. No, it just it breaks the heart.
Yeah,
It breaks the heart. Oh boy. So you're forced to buy from overseas. Is Europe do you buy much from Europe? Is that a market where you can get decent price test gear?
Not really. Every
UK?
now and then, it's either UK or US really.
Right.
But I'll pay the shipping. The shipping's not too bad. If they go by the eBay shipping program, it's a lot cheaper.
Okay.
You wait a lot longer, but it's a lot cheaper. But not a lot comes from, maybe one or two. France, I think, rings a bell for something, but no, it's the EU, Brexit and all the rest of it makes it a little bit more difficult for importing into the UK now. It's actually easier almost to import it from the US than it is from
interesting.
For some stuff, it's a bit of a headache. Yeah.
Right. Have you had any bad packaging on test gear? I've shown some horrible ones.
I think I've been lucky, and I haven't even need to ask them, before, they ship it, please be careful. I haven't really needed to do that. I think I've just been lucky. It's not been too bad.
Okay. Good.
I know that some of the guys out there have had horror stories with packaging and all the rest of it.
Oh, I've seen some shockers, but but actually they haven't damaged. I don't think I've had a damaged one. Like the package has been just chewed to shreds, crushed to shreds, but ultimately the stuff has worked. So I've been fairly lucky, but I know people get, 3458As and they get shipped like just with one thing of bubble wrap tossed in a box, It's like, no, the horror.
I think I had one damaged item. It was a Solartron multimeter, great big thing, and it's got two little card handles, two little handles in the front, and one of them had been smashed off. But
that's better than the controls being smashed off. That's for sure. So.
But what I like buying, I haven't done it in a while. Wrecked equipment. I do like buying wrecked equipment, whether it needs straightened out mechanically and all the rest.
Oh, okay. As in test gear or other types of
no, test
stuff?
gear.
Right.
You had one of them. It was a filter unit, a dual filter unit.
Yes. I've still got that. That's the Stanford Research job. I can't remember the model number. It's SR6. I can't see it from here. Yep.
Yeah, I bought one of them and it was wrecked. It was buckled.
Buckled.
I enjoyed straightening that one out and repainting it and all the rest of it. And then I sold it on eBay.
Oh, great. Great. So have you got much room to store gear there, or is that, or do you...
Not really. I've got like another building outside, which I use for storage, but it's not heated or anything like that. So I've really got to watch for humidity and all the rest of it, what I put in there. I struggle for space, really. That's my arch enemy in my workshop, space. So when I see you moving around between 100 meters squared to 50 meters,
50? Right, okay. Plus, I've got 2 storage units. I don't want to rub it in, but I've got,
Jealousy comes to mind. I can tell you that.
I've got 44 square meters and 30 and 31. So I've got 31 downstairs and 44 in another part of the business park, which. I don't go to that often now. It was, ever since I got the convenient one downstairs. That's where all my stock sits.
Right, the wife won't let me store anything in the house.
No. No, it's got to be. Yep. Yep, that's why. Yeah, I purchased 2 storage. Are storage units a thing there in Scotland? Like, have you got like a nearby business park with storage units and office space and
there
stuff?
are, but they're not a big thing.
Okay.
I've never ever contemplated using one. I just like
Right.
I like to have everything to hand. You know
Yeah.
what I
Okay.
mean? But
Yep.
I've never really contemplated that. I suppose if I really had to, I would.
Right.
But the weird thing about being in manufacturing like I am is the building I've got outside is actually mostly packing material, huge rolls
Right.
of
Yes.
bubble wrap and
Yep.
boxes and all the rest
Yep.
of it. And it's surprising how much room all that takes up.
Oh yeah, I've devoted an entire thing in here. My entire cubicle is for packing and shipping. That's for
Yeah.
you know, it's got my packing and shipping computer and all my shelves of stock and bubble wrap and you know and boxes and you know.
Yeah, I remember
Yep.
you deliberating over that, and I'm shouting at the screen, "Yes, Dave, turn that into packing and shipping department.
Shipping,
You'll
yes.
regret it."
Yes,
if you leave it in the
exactly,
outside workshop."
exactly. Yep. Although I've got a couple of like I do have like a little workbench in there which I use for like photography. If I'm selling something on
Alright,
eBay
okay.
or something like that. You know, I really want a nice photography space. I've got my light box next to me, but I really need to. You'll see right behind me there is a light tent. You know, but like it's a big 1 meter cubed light tent. You know, it's massive and like I don't really have anywhere to sort of like permanently set it up and just devote to just product photography, you know, if I want to sell stuff on eBay.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I just
But you don't
plunge
use it
it
that
together.
often, really.
No, but it's just nice when it's there, you know, it's just
Yeah.
boom, you know, you don't have to dick around. Now I've got to spend 20 minutes dicking around just setting up for one eBay photo. You know,
Alright, okay.
just to, right.
I've got to
Yeah,
move
for-
stuff. I've got to move
Right.
stuff big time to do that.
Right. Yep. All those binders behind you. Is that documentation for the units
No,
or?
that's parts. That's parts.
That's parts. You've got them all in ring binders.
Yeah, the clip that's inside, throw that away, and they're perfect. So I've got maybe one for through-hole resistors, one for through-hole caps,
Oh,
one
right.
for
Nice.
transistors, and they're all
Yep.
they're all labeled up, and it's just the most convenient way for me to store those parts rather than have the plastic bins. I think that most people use.
Well, you've got
ring
some.
binders are quite
You've
good.
got some beside you there, but is that just your miscellaneous? That's just your miscellaneous. I see you've got all the drawers there.
Oh yeah, that's for things like
beside you.
spiral wrap and USB cables and all that sort of stuff. But components are stored in the binders, the boxes at the
Interesting.
back.
Okay. Yep. Nice.
Yeah.
So no pick and place machine anytime.
No, I mean,
soon,
where would I put
you
it?
don't think?
Where would
You put it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I did get plans drawn up to knock through a back wall in the workshop there,
Right.
and have like an 8 foot by 8 foot space, and I was
Yep.
going to put the laser cutter, maybe the 3D printer, and maybe a pick and place.
Yep.
But I just can't warrant the cost. It's not just
Yeah.
the cost of the pick and place; it's the learning.
Yes. Oh, time.
on
Oh,
it,
yeah. It's a
the
huge
time
learning curve.
involved,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what I
You're
mean?
just better off giving it to someone who'll do it for you and paying £5 or £10 per board or something to get it
but
assembled.
if
You know.
BDVS2 minis went through the roof, then I'd have to do something.
You
But
would
right
have to do
now,
something. Yeah. Yeah,
right
you'd be
now,
forced to.
I can assemble all the PCBs for 50 in maybe 4 days.
Okay.
And what's 4 days? It's not bad.
It's
know
not
what I
too
mean?
bad. Yep. Yeah, but you'd spend 4 days setting up and dicking around with a pick and place machine anyway, probably, just to make 50 boards.
Yeah,
You know,
you'd
all the
forget how
horror
to use
stories.
it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. You wait 6 months and then you've got to start from scratch again.
No.
No,
So I've
right.
kind of avoided that. I mean, as good as it is at the moment, it works out as it is at the moment. So
Right.
happy with that. Yeah.
Right. Have you got anyone local? Is there like a local assembly house to you that could?
I've never
Do
really
them?
looked. I've never
Okay.
really looked.
Right.
It's probably my own fault, but I don't know if it's trust is one thing, but there's low TCR resistors and all that on the PDVS2 Mini. It's quite some
Yep.
bespoke parts and stuff like that.
And they're expensive.
Yeah.
So you can't just waste them like you can with, point,
No.
0.1 cent resistors,
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not really sure I could trust that, you know what I mean? So just kind of avoided that as well. I would never even gone for quotes. It's certainly in the UK, it would be too expensive. I'd have to get it done overseas.
Right.
The
Interesting. Right, because I used to sell kits, and I used to hand assemble a watch. I used to sell a calculator watch. I used to do runs of those, and I was doing 50, 100 boards and stuff like that. I used to do them myself, and then screw this, right? And so I advertised on this was way before the blog. I advertised on Usenet.
Oh, yeah.
Right, I advertised on Usenet, and some guy in Melbourne said, "Oh yeah, I'll assemble those for you." And he hand assembles them in his garage, and he only charged me like $5 a board. And I went, "Why did I even assemble these myself ever?" It's like, yeah, okay. So I just built the $5 per board into my price of the product, and he just happily assembled these mix of surface mount and through hole boards in his garage. And so maybe if you ask on the forum or something, maybe someone local will be happy to.
It's maybe something I need to look into for sure.
Yeah.
It's a thought when you sit down with 50 blank boards.
Yeah.
And a tub of solder paste.
Yeah.
And all your components and boxes and all the rest of it.
Yeah. Yep. What
I usually do is I usually put on a movie at the other end of the workshop. I don't watch it obviously, but it's just in the background.
Yep. And then if you've seen it before, you can visualize it anyway.
Exactly.
Yep.
And
nice.
And before you know it, you're just going through the boards. I've actually done a video. I think I've done a couple of videos on my channel of going through the assembly process.
I've seen those. Yeah.
Once you get into it, it's not too bad. It's just kicking off's the problem. Getting it going is the problem. But right now it's okay. I'll leave it as it is right now.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you. Our amp hour's up. That flew by.
No way.
Yes, it's been an hour and 6 minutes.
Wow.
That flew by. So unfortunately, we'll have to cut it there. But thank you very much, Ian, for joining us. This has been great.
Me, Dave.
Yes, good to talk to a fellow YouTuber, although we've chatted before. But not via video. So this is really good. So if you want to watch the video version of this, if people listen on to the Amp Hour, you can go over to the EV Blog 2 channel. I'll upload it there. So where can people find you? Where can they, because you're on Twitter under Ian, what's your handle? Well, X handle now these days.
It's Ian Johnston, I think.
Ian Johnston, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, I'll link it in down below. And you've got the YouTube channel, which I'll link in down below. And you've got the website where you sell the, if you want to calibrate your meters and stuff, there's nothing better on the market than the PDVS2 Mini now.
Yep, that's it.
Mini version. Nice. And you don't sell it as a kit, do you? It's just all made up and calibrated? No, because you wouldn't know, because you'd have to... people would be phoning you up. How do I calibrate this thing?
It's arguably a metrology grade piece of equipment. So
yes.
You don't. Yes. I wouldn't have put that.
No, you don't want to sell the kit. Has somebody asked for a kit though?
I think once, yes, just to try and get it cheaper.
Of course, yes.
Many years ago, but I said no. I said you try and buy something of a similar spec, and
you
can't. A lot of money,
It's not even close. Yeah. Is there anything else on the market that does? I mean, there's, real exotic high-end name brand stuff. Is there anything else on the market that is like yours with the LCD and you can adjust every digit down to the 6th digit or whatever? Is there any? I don't think there is.
No, not what I call a digital one. Where you've not got a pot, mine doesn't have a pot on it. It's all a little keyboard.
And it's not fixed,
like
the cheap eBay ones are just like you'll get 10 volts, 5 volts and 1 volt or something out, and that's it.
They come out of China, those ones.
And with their dodgy resistors on them.
A week.
Yeah, right. Fantastic.
It is quite unique, really.
Yeah. No, it's great. Yeah, so you've got that's a really great example of a niche product. Just filling a niche, and now it's your full-time job, pretty much.
Well,
that
like
and,
I said,
and the
Dave,
YouTube.
Like I said, Dave, you're to blame.
I'm sorry.
You started me on this.
Yes. Me and my video going, Ian should make these. And you did. Well, you listened to me. That's it. Okay, I can't accept it. You're the one who listened to me. Don't take advice from dodgy YouTubers. Oh, mate. All right. Well, thank you very much, mate. It's been great.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
No worries. Catch you next time.
Bye.